Now, I just got done with Last of Us Part 2. I'm not going to do a review on it. Instead, I'm just going to talk about the spoilers. Not now. It's going to be a build up to that and my thoughts on the game and everything down the line. But first, I want to go over what's happened since the game has been out in terms of dumbasses going around reacting and reviewing Last of Us 2 live streams and reviewing the game and giving it a fucking score. You gotta be one type special person to think that's okay with Last of Us 2 being the exception in every other game. No, you should play every other game. But when it comes to this, you should just consume it how you want to because it's a media and it's you. No. And then on top of that, I ain't even gotten into the review scores, into the critic, and y'all should know me. Anybody who watches my content knows I don't care about Metacritic. I think it's the most overrated tool out there. It's extremely overrated, especially compared to the countless difference of information out there that you can go and say, okay, I'm gonna buy this game for this reason. The thing is, when you look at the games, you're gonna be like, alright, what's selling me on this game? What's the selling point? The gameplay. If the gameplay don't sell you, if nothing about this game sells you, and you wait till one of your favorite reviewers review it on YouTube, I mean, you know, it's one of the things whatever rocks your boat, but at the same time, I would feel like you're not that sold on the product that they're trying to sell. And then you have people, when it comes to these user scores and the critic scores. Now, I'm gonna hold that for later. But these critic scores, you know, they did give them a lot of 10s out of 10s. And there's been games before that have been rated and regarded highly, but I did disagree with the masterpieces for those games. The user score is just a mixed bag of who knows what the fuck's in there. It's mixed with people who's review bombing it, just calling the game trash because they either seen the leaks and called the game trash, reviewed the leaks and called the game trash, reviewed a 20-hour live stream, called the game trash, or hell, they may have, I don't know, like did a share play and just reviewed it off of a share play demo of it that they played maybe for like 20 minutes or so and says, oh, this is a review, I can do that. No, you can't, because I recall somebody getting roasted the fuck out of for trying to review God of War 2018 by watching cutscenes on YouTube. But of course, people won't have this energy for any other game coming out like Cyberpunk. Ain't nobody gonna have this energy. Ain't nobody gonna have this energy. If somebody was to come up to a CD Projekt stand and say, I'm gonna review Cyberpunk 2077 based off the cutscenes that's on YouTube, they would look at your ass like you done lost your goddamn mind. A part of these scores, on top of the review bombing, on top of everything else I just said, is a lot of people, mainly these fake outrage YouTubers, who once again are striking again and saying, hey, developers, Naughty Dog, they're showing you these are the fans that are speaking out against it. We don't even know how many of these people even play the fucking game. So last I checked, there was over 50,000 user scores. So if there's over 50,000 user scores, there could be a possibility of it being one person that actually played the goddamn game out of 50,000. 50,000 user scores, and it could only be one person that played the game. And see, we'll never know who actually played the fucking game in the user scores, because all they gotta do is create an account and just type in a score, and that's a good day. They ain't gotta show proof. And that's kind of sad. I feel like if you're someone who posts a user score review, or you should have to at least upload your gameplay before being able to be allowed to submit a review for a game you may have never played. Because I think that's how the user score system can get fucked over by people who's not playing the games. And this isn't just Last of Us, it's any game, period. I think moving forward, Metacritic ought to do something like, oh, I don't know, when it comes to people posting user scores, they should be barred from being able to submit the score if they don't have actual gameplay to prove it. If they don't have actual gameplay to prove it, then they cannot be allowed to post that score. That's how it should be. On top of that, there's some of these big YouTubers who we know have been covering this for a while, like Heel vs Babyface, Geeks and Gamers, who is one of the people who was reacting to PewDiePie's live stream of The Last of Us Part 2, and he actually did a review on the fucking game. And I'm not gonna show it. I'm not gonna show anybody's faces that's a part of this fake outrage culture revolving around The Last of Us 2, including Tyrone Madness, including countless others, simply because I wouldn't want none of them coming at my neck saying that I got their video that I got them in my video, that I got their likeness being used in my video, or vice versa. I don't want them to get so tilted over little old me, but they really out here be the ones that's tilted. It was just announced that the game is gonna be on par to breaking sales records. On top of everything else, I'm still baffled that people don't understand what the fuck's going on. Like, if you looked at the leaks, you should understand what happened, which I'll get into later. But with everything that we know now, as of this recording at 5:21 a.m. on the 23rd day of June 2020, I do think with everything that I know about these people hurting so bad, I have to ask them, where do they touch you at? Oh yeah, that's right, they touch your channel. I would have preferred everything not to be leaked. And we don't know nothing about the game until launch day, until we get the hands on our copies of the game, however we get it. I would have much preferred it to be done exactly like that. Knowing what I know now, knowing the outrage culture of today revolving around this game. And we've seen with other games before that the endings didn't get leaked. And I think if they had got leaked, that probably would have been worse. Games like Mass Effect 3's ending, that got, if it had got leaked, it would have, blew the lid off of a lot of shit. But because it didn't get leaked, the outrage didn't come until later. And that is what I wanted to see, knowing the shit that I know now. Now granted, Mass Effect 3 did have a bad ending, that's agreeable, but I still wouldn't have wanted that to be leaked, which it didn't get leaked. I think that's just like I said, I think the leak should have never even happened. And let all these motherfuckers who's pissed about the leaks just cry and complain and all that. Now, there was a discussion saying that there could be a possibility, which I do think is true, basically because how the game is, controversy aside. I think this game not only will win Game of the Year, it should win Game of the Year. My reason why I wanted to win Game of the Year is to piss off a lot of these same people I'm talking about. Piss them all off. And you had people like Tyrone Madness the other day say, oh, you don't want that to happen. You don't want that to happen. You don't want to see that. What y'all gonna do? Really? What are y'all gonna do? You ain't gonna do nothing but type on your keyboard 100,000 times until your Twitter fingers have turned blue with envy. You ain't gonna do nothing but that. Stop it. And don't act like that, oh, you're gonna boycott the next game that Naughty Dog puts out. Bullshit. I'm gonna call y'all on your bullshit right now. You're not gonna do it to other future games, because what does the future of Naughty Dog games have to do with the now? Nothing. So if it does happen, I will sit back, relax, pop me some popcorn and just watch the fireworks, or not the fireworks, rather the salty tears flow of you people who's upset at The Last of Us Part 2 leaks entirely. And if you were one of the people, especially if you were one of the people who didn't play the damn game, I would take pride and accomplishment rather, in seeing you upset, you tilted over a game you hate winning game of the year. And also, I kind of want to call out these same people who think that if you think The Last of Us Part 2 is a masterpiece, if you think the game is a good game or a great game, you know what they think? They think you're wrong. They think you're wrong and they're right, even though they ain't played the fucking game. You can't tell me I am wrong about my opinion. If I think Last of Us 2 is a good or great game, then I think that. You can't take that away from me. I don't give a damn about no Metacritic score. It could be a goose egg for all I care. It's about what I think. Okay. Now, could it be some things where I can say, yeah, I can see why you'd hate that. Sure. But all in all, if I think it's a great game, I think it's a great game. I know this is a long ass video already, but this is where we're going into spoiler territory. So if you have not beaten Last of Us Part 2 yet, please, I urge you to click off this video and come back to it once you've beaten the game. Timestamp it right here and come back to it once you've beaten the game. Alright, so I done warned y'all, so I don't want nobody getting mad. We did see Joel get clapped really quickly, and it was still shocking. It would have been way more shocking if the leaks never existed. I would have been about as shocked as when Johnny got killed in Saints Row 3. It's like that moment right there was shocking. Even a better comparison, say in Assassin's Creed 2, when you see Ezio's family get slaughtered. I mean, I would have had that same reaction I had back then to this. The game is basically about the cycle of revenge, people. It's basically the cycle of revenge. And it's something you could equate to real life shit. Where if you got a homeboy who claps somebody, chances are he gonna get himself clapped one way or another. And it's something I can relate to in my personal life, because I know some people that it's happened to, and it's like, damn, you know, I can look at it like that, like, damn, the cycle of revenge existed with people who I know. But I will say the couple parts of the game that got people the most tilted was the sex scene, which a lot of people found disturbing. I really found that cringily hilarious. And the ending. The ending was, it's like, initially I was just like, is that it? There gotta be more to it. Is that why people upset? I understood why people was upset. People was upset because of the fact that you have Ellie go on this journey to Santa Barbara to hunt down Abby, to get all the way down there, beat the shit out of her out after she done already gotten beaten up herself and damn near tortured by this unknown new group, which I'll get into as well. She basically got her ass kicked by this unknown new group who kidnapped her and Lev, and Abby went down there to seek revenge and kill Abby. I mean, yeah, Ellie went down there to seek revenge on Abby to kill her. I was looking at it like, now you go all the way down there, I'm expecting a bloodbath, but you go all the way down there and have come to the realization, which I understand, come to the realization that it's not worth it, it's not gonna bring Joel back, and you let her live, and she just goes off into the sunset with an unconscious Lev. Which I look at that like, I can understand why she did it, because she was like, listen, it's not gonna bring him back, so I'm not gonna do it. I look at, and then on top of that, she took this trip with a huge risk. Dina was trying to tell her, no, don't go, you got everything you need right here. So she took a gamble to risk it all just to come down. If you're gonna risk it all like that, you need to go all in, and she did not go all in. She pretty much did not kill Abby, and it wouldn't have mattered either way, I think, because even if she had killed Abby, Dina and her son would have left. Like, they would have still been gone, because when she came back, empty house. It looked like it'd been empty for months. And that's nothing. They didn't explain how long it was between the time that Abby beat the fuck out of Ellie to the time Tommy comes over there and says, hey, she's here, you want to go get her. I don't even know how long it was. It could have been a year, could have been during the whole pregnancy, who knows. And it was kind of disappointing because it's like, damn, you pretty much got your ass kicked, and after getting your ass kicked, you like, listen, I want to go legit. I want a wife, a kid, the picket fence. I want all that shit. I don't want no smoke. Like, she ain't want no smoke with Abby after that. I understand why, but it's like, it's kind of weird. And then you get to the other part of this ending, which pretty much reveals, and I kind of had to sit down and think. She pretty much committed the same act, the same atrocity that her dad Joe did, and that was slaughter an unknown group. Now, of course, I'm not saying that the Fireflies were unknown. They, of course, were known, but this new group, she came in there and slaughtered these people. Came in there and slaughtered these people just to find Abby and kill her. Just to not kill her. And let a bunch of prisoners free. Now, like I said, there's no good, there's no evil people in the world of Last of Us. There's gray area people. Pretty much doing the same exact thing Joel did. Slaughtering people, which will lead, in turn, them trying to come back and find Ellie and kill her. And that's gonna start off, that's just repeating the cycle of violence in of itself. And then you see at the end where Ellie just walking off into the sunset to God knows where. We don't know if she was going back to Jackson, going someplace new, or going someplace to offer herself, because all the emotions that was probably running through her head at that point. I lost my dad, and at the same time I lost everything I had here at home. I lost this woman I loved, I lost this kid I loved, I lost all that shit. I lost any sense of normal life. So I don't know what's going through her head, and we don't even know the whereabouts of Dina. Did Dina just go back to Jackson? I would imagine so. Now, worst case scenario, you can say that Dina was murdered shortly after Ellie left. It just been on, so like, because the house that she came back to looked like it'd been there for quite a while, like maybe a year max, to the least 5 or 6 months. It kind of made me quit. Like, I can understand why people would hate the ending. Absolutely, I can understand why people hate the ending. And the whole thing about you playing as somebody who is gonna do a lot of evil things, and Abby didn't really do that many evil things when you played as her. Abby wasn't the one that was evil. WLF was evil, because their leader Isaac tried to clap Lev like this. I don't give a fuck about him being a kid. Fuck them kids. With that being said, I don't know what they're gonna do next. A part of me says don't make a part 3. A part of me says there's plenty you can do. There's cliffhangers to try to tidy up, but if you're gonna keep repeating the cycle of violence, then it can get over people very quickly. Now, as far as the rest of the game goes, is my thoughts on the game. I thought the game was great. I thought the only downside to the game was the story. The story did not have bad writing, but it had very bad pacing. Very astronomically bad pacing. It had poor character development with certain characters, like mainly with the new characters we've seen with Ellie and with Abby. The new characters with Ellie was Jesse and Dina. Now, Dina, by the end of the game, I ended up liking her a lot more than Jesse, and caring about her more than Jesse, because more of for the sake of Ellie at least. Now, Jesse, I ain't give a fuck about him when he got clapped. I'm like, damn, rip, move on. That's how I was. That was my reaction. The only character I actually ended up liking the most on Ellie's side was, apart from Dina and of course Ellie and Tommy, you know, because after I thought he got shot, I'm like, damn, what the fuck. Now, as far as on Abby's side, there's a lot of characters that had very bad character development. Almost all of them except Yora and Lev, the two characters who had some of the best character development I've seen for them, because they were well developed characters. You got to get to know the characters, you got to spend time with the characters. If they only did that with the rest of the cast, it would have been a much better story. Now, as for gameplay, that gameplay was fire. Gameplay was top notch and never got old any time at any point in the game. Just the different shit you can do in that game was insane to me. Now, it pretty much plays exactly like the first game. Now, the AI is smart as hell, and that's what I really appreciate about this game, having an incredibly smart AI system. Graphically, technically, this game is a beast. It's a powerhouse, and the attention to detail is outright amazing. The expressions on faces, the detail to windows, how they shatter, how the water drips off the sides of buildings, how mold and mildew grows. It's just the little things like that I really enjoy seeing. Honestly, beyond that, I think that's all I'd have to say about the game. This has been a really long video, over 20 minutes. But yeah, all in all, I think this was a really good game. Definitely a Game of the Year nominee. I would much rather you guys go out and play it. I would recommend you play it, and not just piggyback off what these other leakers been saying. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, think about hitting the like button, subscribe for more content like this. Until next time, I'm out.